Welcome to the Canes Corner podcast. I am Adam Gold, and that didn't suck.
Power play continues for the Hurricanes. In a 2-2 game, overtime, game 5. Gostisbehere left point. Back out it comes. Half minute to go on the penalty. Here's Kotkaniemi with a shot.
That's Jesper Fast scoring the overtime game winner. Hurricanes beat the New Jersey Devils 3-2. They win the series 4-1. And now we wait. Florida, Toronto tomorrow night in Toronto, game 5. Leafs trying to stay alive in that series. Wow. Just wow. What a game. By the way, I'm exhausted and it's hot as hell in here. So I'm going to take this jacket off and just maybe roll my sleeves up. Thank you very much for hanging out here on the Canes Corner podcast live on YouTube. So do me a favor, do you a favor, do us all a favor, and make sweet love to the subscribe button or the like button. I really don't know what it says, but you know that. You know I don't know what it says. So just so you know, it's good for all of us. You don't miss it if you're interested, and we like a lot of subscribers. I think we're over 10. I really don't know what the number is. I don't pay attention to these numbers. I've been told that the overall podcast numbers aren't, they don't stink. So I hope you like it. So let's just talk a little bit about what we saw, maybe tonight, maybe in the series, and maybe big picture, because this does feel like a big picture kind of night, doesn't it? Little picture, the game, heck of a game. New Jersey walks out of here, skates out of here, whatever, rides out of here. I think they should be proud of the effort tonight. This effort, way better than what we saw in the last 30 minutes in Newark in game 4 from the Devils. Way better. And I'm glad, because nobody wants that to be the last impression of a team on the rise, is that, boy, they kind of went away. This was a team that came here to win a hockey game. And frankly, if you're the Devils, if I'm Timo Meier, I ain't looking at the film. I ain't looking at any video of that miss, because that was an ugly miss. I know I asked, I think it was Mike Maniscalco in the intermission. He joined me between the third period and overtime, and I said, which empty net is, which guy who missed the empty net is feeling worse, Timo Meier or Jesper Fast? And we just chuckled both, right? Because Fast missed 2, although he was defended at least on 1, and he sort of explained what happened on the other. There's no defense. Timo Meier just flat whiffed on an empty net. I mean, but it is what it is. Carolina has certainly had those opportunities this year, and even tonight, they had some opportunities to score and didn't. It's one of those games. It's a game where it's really hard to slow yourself down because there is so much at stake. Carolina, even though they had the cushion of a 3-1 lead, Carolina didn't want to go back out on the road. They didn't want to go back to New Jersey. They didn't want to get on a plane and have a risk of having to come back here and then roll the dice in a game 7. They didn't want that. And other than that stretch, I thought Carolina was the better team in the first period, albeit just slightly, but the Devils got the goal. And in the second period, Carolina got the great start, got the Slavin goal, then the Kotkaniemi penalty, which, I mean, okay, whatever. It was a retaliation move, but I thought Curtis Lazar came in late. So they could have both gone, but whatever, that's fine. Carolina didn't kill a penalty. Frankly, that was the only questionable play from Freddie. There were a couple of rebounds that he let, but that's not a rebound you really should allow. So the play extends, and then when the play extends, I mean, Timo Meier's in the right spot. There were 2 Devils right there, and only Brett Pesce trying to fight him off. So Devils go back up 2-1. And from that point on, man, the next 10 minutes was like it was a deluge. It was an onslaught. But Freddie made some good saves. Carolina had some desperation plays, got some luck. The Meyer miss. Miles Wood right in front had an opportunity. Nathan Bastian in front had an opportunity. So there were opportunities for the Devils to extend the lead 2 goals, and they didn't do it. And we always talk about those moments. You have to be able to seize those moments. They weren't able to do that. So the Hurricanes, in a one-shot hockey game, got the goal from Brent Burns with not much left in the second period. What, 52 seconds left in the period, something like that? Wow. Just wow. Great shot, great screen, 2-2. Third period, chances both ways. There was a time where I watched the entire third period standing with Mike and Tripp. And I turned to Tripp in one of the breaks and I just said, man, there's just too much play in the middle of in the neutral zone. There's too much back and forth. I don't think the Hurricanes want to play this way. And about the 6-minute mark on, it looked like Carolina started to get back to having the puck in the Devil's zone, behind the Devil's net, and they had some chances late. But ultimately, we end up in overtime. And then you get to overtime, again, chances each way. Absolutely chances each way. And Freddie had to make a couple of saves. Jacob Slavin had to make a couple of saves. Slavin nearly fed Martinook for the game-winning goal, which would have been fitting. But you know what? I think Jesper Fast scoring the game-winning goal, series-ending goal, just as fitting. Martinook got all the pub because Martinook had a 10-point series, by the way, because he got an assist tonight. But very quietly, Jesper Fast had tied for the team lead with 5 goals scored in the playoffs. 5 goals. So, good hard-fought win. Freddie Andersen, now 6 starts. He's allowed, I have to look at it, but his save percentage, I mean, probably didn't, if it went down, it only went down by a smidge, if it went down at all. Probably went down just slightly, 2 goals on, 28, 29 shots, whatever it is. Yeah, it probably went down just a hair. But Andersen was good. Hurricanes are into the conference finals for the second time in 5 years. Again, they will play either Toronto or Florida. They have played Toronto in the conference finals before. That worked out okay, 2002. So we do 3 stars. I try to do this on Twitter at AGoldFan if you want to hit me up there. I always do 3 stars after a Hurricanes win. I do not do stars after Hurricanes losses because I'm mad. My 3 stars today were: third, Brent Burns. He was great tonight. We're going to talk a little bit about Brent Burns. Second, Jacob Slavin, who was the best player on skates tonight. And Rod said what everybody should, like, I don't know how many, I don't know even how to quantify how good defensively Jacob Slavin is. But he is a wizard. Amazing. Slavin was my second star, and the first star was Jesper Fast because he scored the goal. If I was simply doing who are the best 3 players in the game, likely would have stuck Freddie Andersen under Brent Burns, and Jacob Slavin would be number 1. But you get to be the first star when you end the series. That's the rule. Paul Stastny was my first star when he ended the series on Long Island. 3-0 in the postseason and overtime. Carolina goals from Fast and Stastny and Fast again. How fun is that? All right, real quick to the Slavin-Burns combination. We said before the season started, not we, I mean, it wasn't like I had this revelation. There's a word there somewhere. That when it all works out, Slavin and Burns could end up being the best defensive pair the Hurricanes have ever had, and they've had some good ones, and one of the best defensive pairings in the league in the last, I don't know how long. Think about this. Burns, even at 38, 7, I don't know, one of those, well into the back nine of his NHL career, is still an elite offensive player. Slavin is the best defensive defenseman in the sport. The combination of those two, gosh, is a dream. An absolute freaking dream. How good they are. By the way, Freddie Anderson, 27 saves tonight. So Slavin in the playoffs is plus 14. Yep, plus 14 in the playoffs. They've only played 11 playoff games, and he's plus 14. Burns is plus 9. That's the combination, right? That's the tandem. And because of how great Slavin is, it's a great defensive pair. And because of how great Slavin is, Burns gets to do goofy things. It's an incredible combination. So we're very lucky, and because Burns keeps himself in such amazing condition, we are super lucky to know that we're going to have this for 2 more years. 2 more years of that. And it will likely get better. As long as Burns continues what he does in the offseason, which is, I was told before the season started that, I was like, whoa, he's so old. And Brett Hedican, who does San Jose Sharks color, said, oh, that ain't the problem. He's fine. He'll be in as good a shape as anybody on the team. And by the way, guess who crushed the fitness test before the season started? Other than the head coach, of course. Brent Burns, Jordan Stahl. They destroyed the conditioning test. So you've got Slavin and Burns as a combination that just anchors everything, and they can play heavy minutes if they have to. We didn't see Slavin on the power play this year, but I didn't mind Jacob Slavin on the power play. But I get it. You don't need to play. They've got power play guys. Leave it alone. And Burns, had his moments, his bad moments on the power play. But, man, what an elite player. We're very lucky. All right, 2 more things, and then we got to go through some questions and comments here in the Canes Corner podcast after the Hurricanes. Wait a second. Hold 1 second. Just hold 1 second.
Power play continues for the Hurricanes. In a 2-2 game, overtime, game 5. Gostisbehere.
I remember point. This.
Back out it comes. Half minute to go on the penalty. Here's Kotkaniemi with a shot.
Yeah, that's it's Kenny Albert on TNT. There you go, Freddie Anderson. Maybe we've already talked about him. If I had told all of you, I'm going to flip it. If you had told me 3 weeks ago that Freddie would have played 6 games and, frankly, would have allowed, I don't know, maybe 2 shaky goals in 6 games, I would have said, you're crazy. I just want... Shoulder shrug emoji. That's all I got. Freddie was dynamite in the series. And again, this is about the team. We want to big picture this for a second. It's about the team. Brent Burns talked about it. Slavin talked about it. Martinook talked about it. Kotkaniemi talked. I mean, this is what they are. The system can compensate for the loss of high-skilled players. That doesn't mean at some point it comes back to get you. Where it will be found eventually is probably on the power play, where you don't have a Svechnikov, you don't have that shot, you don't have a Teravainen, you don't have that passer, although Turbo likely will be back at some point. If not at the end of this series, if and when Carolina gets to the Stanley Cup Finals, Teuvo Teravainen should be available. He's practicing now. He's just not. He's still in a yellow non-contact jersey, and he can't do much in terms of shooting the puck. So he's not going to play until he can do that. And Pacioretty obviously is a miss. So they're missing offense. But the team does the same. Every line does the same damn thing. They hound the puck. They get it behind you. They go get it. They make your life miserable. And that style was always going to be able to withstand, in a short sample, the loss of the high-end offensive talent. As long as the guys that they have, the remaining offensive players, could contribute and do enough, do their jobs. By the way, I eventually loved Aho tonight. But I thought Sebastian spent the first 50 minutes trying to score. And that isn't the way that this team needs Aho to play. They just need Aho to play because the goals will come. But in the last part of the third period and into the overtime, we're like, oh, yes, that's the guy. That's the Sebastian Aho we need. So he eventually did get it. And I think everybody was kind of amped up. I think we will see the best of Sebastian Aho coming up in the next round. My 3 stars of the series. My 3 stars of the series.
Sorry, the face-off circle. Slavin keeps it in at the left point, then it'll be knocked away and escape.
Gostisbehere left point. Back out it comes. Half minute to go on the penalty. Here's Kotkaniemi with a shot.
Yeah, there you go. I just want to make sure it was still there. So good for all of us. I just want to make sure that Kenny Albert was still there when we need him. My 3 stars of the playoffs, that I'm going to roll through some questions and comments because I know that, gosh, there are a lot of them. Third star of the playoffs, or I'm sorry, third star of the series, the captain, Jordan Staal. Did anybody notice Jack Houston? I'm just curious. I'm just going to ask the question. Did anybody notice number 86 tonight? New Jersey's best player. Nope, I didn't either. Case closed. Third star of the series. Second star of the series. And by the way, as has been pointed out on Twitter, as I tell you that the second star of the series was Jaccob Slavin. Every night, just about every night, you could, if you wanted to, simply say, oh yeah, the best player for the Hurricanes was Jaccob Slavin. He is chef's kiss good. I mean, he is a beautifully marbled, medium rare ribeye. He is delicious. Now I'm hungry. So Jaccob Slavin gets my second star of the series. And the first star, I mean, how could you not? Jordan Martinook is the first star of the series. We talk about Martinook all the time and what he has meant to this team this year and what a healthy season. We started knocking on wood, using my head here, back about 3 months ago, when you just, please, all I wish is for Jordan Martinook to be healthy all season. Because what we see is that when Martinook is healthy, he impacts the game in such a positive way. He's not a drag on the offense. He's a great defensive player. He's a penalty killer. He's a physical player. He can be an agitator. He's a mix-it-up guy. He is the heart and soul of this team, the heartbeat of this team. It is awesome. I said this about Martinook, I think it was a couple of years ago. I don't know how many people, how many of you know, Kevin Adams is somebody that I became very good friends with while he was a player here. And I still text, and we don't do text and talk enough now or as much now because he's kind of busy being the GM of the Buffalo Sabres. And I told this to Kevin the last time I saw him. Jordan Martinook, as a teammate, reminds me a lot of Kevin Adams. And Kevin Adams is one of the best teammates that, I'll just use the head coach as an example, that the head coach has ever had. And Rod and Kevin are very, very close. Kevin was almost an assistant coach here way back when, but Kevin was enjoying what he was doing in his hometown of Buffalo. It was before he was named the GM. He was like running youth hockey, and he was doing the business side. He was learning all aspects of it. And he didn't want to leave there. He didn't want to leave the area that he grew up in. So that's how close. Brett Hedican and Kevin Adams could have very easily been Rod Brindamore's first coaching staff, but they both had families and gigs and places where they loved, and they didn't want to leave. And they were like, yeah, maybe not right away, but they thought about it. Now, I mean, Hedican's a superstar on the TV out in San Jose, and Adams is, I think, doing a super job as the GM of the Buffalo Sabres. All of a sudden, I'm starting to talk about other things. Anyway, but Martinook reminds me of Kevin Adams. All right, to some questions. Yes, I can't read all of the comments, but I'm glad they're here. There's a lot of love, and we love this team. Go Hurricanes, go, all of that. And I said this in the aftermath, and I'll say it right here, because I'm assuming there are some of you who are watching or who are commenting that also drew my ire on Twitter during the course of the season, even as recently as maybe a month ago, when I told Canes Twitter to go soak your freaking heads. Everybody gets a mulligan. You're free. I've just absolved you of the defeatist, we're never going to win, we can't do this tweet that made me angry, because we don't have, the Hurricanes are not the Avalanche of last year or the Lightning of 2 years ago. They're not that. But they're the anti-Maple Leafs is what they are. And the team has the identity of their coach on the ice, and they don't see what they don't have. When the game starts, they don't see that. All they see is, we can win this game. And they can beat anybody in any series, anywhere. And it comes from the top down. It comes from the head coach. They just, when they do it right, man, they are super good when they do it right. With all of the player personnel issues. And I'm not even saying, think of how good they could be with Svechnikov, with Teravainen, with Pacioretty. Because I don't know if they could be better. They'll be different. They might score more, but I don't know if they could be better. What's the record in the postseason? 8 wins, 3 losses. Best record in the NHL in the postseason. Interestingly enough, the Hurricanes lead the postseason in goals against average and save percentage. Go figure. I mean, of the team still standing, because the Rangers, Igor Shesterkin led the playoffs in, I think, both goals against and save percentage. But look, they're good. They've been good. They've been good all year. All right, let's see what else we have here. Afternoon legend. Adelaide, South Australia. Time is 1:05 p.m. Our friend. We have to have the greatest reach in the history of YouTube podcast. So it is 1:05. What did he say? 1:05. How can it be 1:05? I don't even understand. I think your watch is fast. I don't know. It's 14 hours ahead, I guess, in Adelaide. Not bad. Kev France, Adam, that game was not mid, not sus. So what do we call it? We call it bleeping great. That's what we call it. Japan. All right, we're in Australia, in Adelaide, Australia, in Middle Japan. I assume is there a town called Middle Japan? Adam, NHL Network likes Brent Burns for Conn Smythe hype. Thoughts? I mean, we're halfway there. He's certainly on a list of candidates, but the real candidates won't start coming out, honestly, until we get into the conference finals, then into the Stanley Cup finals. So all of it. The Hurricanes have a lot of candidates. Martinook, Anderson, Burns, Slavin. Obviously Martinook and Aho. Aho didn't play great tonight, but Aho's been awesome in the playoffs. Yeah, Aaron is talking about heart rate. I do think I think it should count as cardio. I do think that the third period should count as cardio. Brandon Cox, my girlfriend had a headache in overtime, and I said I'd keep it down if the Canes won. I mean, I tried. Oh man. Slavin's okay. Ryan wants to know what I think about Slavin having fun. I think people forget sometimes that these guys are having fun. Obviously, you play because it's what you do. But I don't think you could play and play as well as if you weren't having fun. I really don't. I don't think you have to have fun. Cam Ward used to say, the more fun you have, the better you play. I think he said something like that. So Calvin, what do you contribute to the increase in the Canes offense this series? Worst defense and goaltending by Jersey? Well, New Jersey's goaltending was not good. So some of it, yes. But also, some of it is, if you look at the 3 goals tonight, there is a fair amount of that tonight. All 3 goals were the same. Shots from deep, although the Kotkaniemi overtime winner shot, Foss goal, that was not deep, but net front presence. All 3. But Carolina's done a lot of that in the postseason. The Martinook goal, that's a great shot. In game 4, Foss's garbage goal in front. I think there were some goaltending issues for the Devils. I also think there were some defensive issues for the Devils. No, the Hurricanes are probably not going to average 4.5 goals a game. What do they get in this series? They scored 5. They scored 6. They scored 4. They scored 6. There were 21 goals in the first 4 games of the series, averaging more than 5 goals a game. So, and 3. So they scored 24 in 5 games. Scored 4.8 goals a game. That ain't going to happen. So this team is going to settle in around between, if they can average 3 goals a game, I like their chances against anybody. If they can average 3 goals a game, I like their chances in the playoffs, because there are going to be games they're going to score 1 or 2, but every single time they score, let's just say 3 or 4 or 5, they'll win those games. So, unless you give up 8, in which case you won't win. Let's see what we got here. Am I the only one thinking, this is Australia again, am I the only one thinking this game should not have gone into overtime? 3 missed open nets, and that should, the Devils, I'll just say, Timo Meier, don't watch the tape. But the Devils missed the better opportunities, although Carolina missed opportunities as well throughout. Let's see what else we've got. You've heard of hot pans? I think you meant pants. How about fast pants? Why are we talking about Jesper Foss pants? Although I haven't seen a clear enough version of the goal. I don't believe it hit his stick. It looked like it hit his shorts. I actually thought it might have gone between his legs. Could it have been a crotch goal? I don't know. It could have been a crotch goal. There are so many comments. It's been fun, man. Everybody, thank you very much for hanging out. This was probably a little bit scattered and random, but we got another series to play, another series to talk about, and we'll watch the Panthers and the Maple Leafs tomorrow night, Friday night, and we'll just enjoy it. And we'll see maybe it's Florida, and Florida ain't no joke, man. That is a good hockey team that had a hard time figuring out how to play this year. They didn't get great goaltending. Getting pretty good goaltending now in Sergei Bobrovsky. So, I mean, he doesn't make $10 million for no reason. There was a reason the Panthers paid him all that cash. There's a lot of stalls on the ice for Florida, and we could have a whole bunch of stalls here in the Eastern Conference Finals. My gosh. I hope you all enjoyed it. I'm Adam Gold. I think the Hurricane. Did the Hurricanes win?
Power play continues for the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
In a 2-2 game, overtime, game 5. Gostisbehere left point. Back out it comes. Half minute to go on the penalty. Here's Kotkaniemi with a shot.
Yep. We're brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. If it's for the exterior of your home, you can find it at the Aluminum Company of North Carolina on Hamlin Road in Durham. No place like it. Sammy Hanna and his crew do a great job. You should check them out if you want to make your home more beautiful and energy efficient on the outside and the inside, because it kind of works hand in hand. AluminumCompany.com. Follow the Canes Corner podcast wherever you get your podcast. You can find us here on YouTube live after every game. We don't have a game on Saturday, so I get the weekend off. You should be happy for me for that, and we'll probably convene Tuesday or Wednesday of next week. Good thing is we'll be right here at PNC Arena, because as long as the Hurricanes are playing hockey, they got the home ice advantage, and they are halfway to 16 wins, and that's what they're looking for. Until whenever the next time is, thank you for lightly caressing the like button or the subscribe button here on YouTube, and we'll see everybody next time.